Hi everyone, this is Lori with a plan in mind. I'm out in the orchard today and we're going to be talking about some tools and pruning our apple trees. So right here behind me you can see this big tree. This one has never been pruned before, so it's going to be a perfect example of the things that you need to prune, and we're going to talk about that today. So there are 5 different problem areas that we are going to be looking for to prune out of this tree. We'll talk about using 3 different tools today, and I'll show you those as we discuss what kind of tools for which kind of branch and why that branch needs to come out. All right, let's go on in and take a closer look. All right, let's go ahead and talk about problem number 1. We've got a branch here that has crossed over another, and it is causing some crowding. When the wind blows, there's some rubbing, and that is a potential damage area that would let in disease and pests. So you can see here, this one is crowded. So it is actually going underneath this one. If you look up in there, you can see what I'm talking about. Not to mention, we've got some overlap here and here. So this one needs to be coming out. We're going to take that one out with our chainsaw. That diameter is much too thick for any tool less than that. When we get to taking this particular branch out, we will be using a diagonal cut where that branch meets the limb for the tree. So we want to cut at a diagonal. That'll help it to shed rain. That will prevent disease and prevent wood rot. With the rain being shed off at the diagonal, much better than if we were to cut it flat, in which rain could go ahead and sit on that branch and cause that wood rot. So definitely taking this one out. Let's get some airflow there and make that a better condition for the tree itself. All right, problem number 2, right behind me, you're gonna see a lot of problem number 2. Here's one, here's one, here's one, here's one, here's one. If we let these go, right now they're just twigs, looks like no big deal, but if we let these go, they will someday be branches just as large as these others. That is too much crowding. Little airflow would get through there, and this is actually when they are the easiest to take out. So I would take this out now with my shears and just cut them diagonal there at the base where they meet up with the branch or the limb. So we're going to be working on problem number 2 also. Problem number 3, you can kind of see one here behind me, right there, right here. That looks to be growing straight up and down, vertical. That's a problem. It's going to be blocking the light for other branches, other leaves, other fruit. Anything vertical in the tree needs to come out. So we've got one here as well. So that doesn't look like too big of a deal, but we'll go ahead and get that one out of there also. All right, so right there, there's 3 problems. Let's look for problem number 4. Here it is, guys, problem number 4. I wonder if you even recognize it. What on earth is that thing? Well, it's called a mummy. What is a mummy, you ask? That is a piece of fruit that has completely shriveled and dried itself up. It was once festering with fungus, and now it has simply become a mummy. What does that tell me? That tells me that that branch is likely carrying some sort of disease or fungus. That's got to come out. If you look up yonder, you're going to see some apples that were left behind, and you're also going to see some brown spots on them. The lighting is not great today, but you can kind of tell if you look closely, more indication of fungus and disease. Some branches up there probably need to come out. Here we are with problem number 5. This is not an apple tree, it is actually a plum tree. And if you look very closely, that plum tree has grown right into the apple tree. There should be some space. You don't want your apple trees touching, not with each other, not with another tree. Again, restriction of airflow is the problem. Sunlight and airflow is what we need to keep good, healthy trees that will produce good, healthy fruit. So we will correct this problem by topping off the ends of those branches, giving them what we call a header cut. All right, guys, we've got 5 problems identified. So we're going to go ahead and go on in and take a look at our tools and see what we can start doing with them. All right, let's go ahead and talk about tools today. So we've got 3 different tools that we're going to be using out there in the orchard. The first tool that we've got is what they call shears. So these particular shears are Fisker's brand. They actually have a ratcheting feature so that when the cut gets too narrow, it will ratchet down and bear down and make a final cut. So it's got a nice feature. It's got this little hook on the end so that you can keep it closed. Put those in your pocket or in your tool belt, and they will stay closed up here. Now, this pair of Fiskars is what I usually use to do anything that would be considered probably an inch or less. So I've got a couple of pieces here, and you can see this is just a very twiggy piece of apple wood, and it's going to make that cut very easily. So it'll snip right through it, not a problem. If it stops, it'll ratchet down, bear down, and it will go ahead and make that cut very easily. It will also handle a piece of wood at least an inch, or at maximum an inch in diameter. And this is one where you'll see the ratcheting a little bit more. That first ratchet kind of stopped when it broke into the wood. It grabbed down on another level, and then it will make another cut. There's ratchet two, and then we're gonna go into number 3 and make that cut. Love the ratcheting feature because it makes it very easy on my hands. I don't have a lot of grip strength, and with the amount of cutting that I do, I need that feature so that it will lessen the amount of force that I need to use on cutting these branches. So shears, gonna be using these on the water sprouts that I showed you. Also gonna be using these in the garden on any kind of bushes to prune, or even tomato plants to prune. Very handy tool to have if you are outside in the garden or the orchard. The next tool I want to show you is called loppers. This is a lopper, and it is simply a large cutting mechanism with a blade that you use your arms and chest to force closed. You're getting your leverage here through the longer handle, and obviously you're getting a much longer reach. So this is going to be good if I've got some branches just above my head because I can reach for that. These are going to be good for branches that are at least an inch in diameter. Typically, I won't use these on anything more than 2 to 2.5 inches. Personally, for me, with my upper body strength, it's just not a good combination. I actually don't like to use these a whole lot because of the fact that I lack upper body strength, and a lot of cuts with these tends to wear me out. The last tool that I use in the orchard is my Craftsman pole saw. This one is actually my favorite because I can reach up to 20 feet with it. I can take out larger branches and limbs. It requires little body strength. I just need to get in a good position and get some leverage on it and use it to its potential. So this particular Craftsman is a 20 volt and it has an 8-inch blade. It comes with 3 pieces. This is the saw itself. You're gonna see that it's got a connector cover, but the connector itself is much like plugging in perhaps like a wall outlet. It has to be lined up. it's got a couple of prongs in there, and there's a notch on the side, and you just have to line those up accordingly. Once you get that lined up, oh, I'm not seeing it, there it is. Once it's lined up, and you push that connector piece in and rotate it on. There we go. And then you're just going to screw that on. All right, keep screwing it on until the red plastic disappears. So now we've lengthened our pole, and then we need to add our final piece, which is the handle. And this particular one is battery powered, and I'll show you that in just a moment. If there's anything wrong with this, it's just simply that it's awkward because the length and the size. Again, I probably can reach about 20 feet between my height and my reach. There it is. So there's just this little notch inside that you have to line the two up. And the notch is about 1/4 of an inch thick, so it's a little difficult to see. You just got to get down in there and look for it. All right, so here we have the entire pole saw put together. Again, it's the 14-foot Craftsman 20 volt. It comes with a battery pack, and that battery pack just slides on the end. There we go. Okay, we get it snapped in place. It actually has a safety feature. That safety feature is such that you actually have to pull the lever right here. You can see that. You got to make sure that that is pushed down before you actually pull the handle. And it actually is locked. It will not let you do that. But once it is, you can just go ahead and push it down, pull the handle, and you're going to get a little whirl. All right, that's the pole saw. That's the one I'll be using on the big cuts today, especially that one that is crossing over and shading out the other branches. There we have it, guys, 3 tools. That's all you need to get started in your orchard. Some 3 basic tools. Find the ones that work for you. These are the ones that work for me. I know there's other stuff out there, but for my hand strength and my level of expertise, I'm very comfortable with using these. I especially like the pole saw because that is away from my body. I will still wear protective eyewear and take any kind of precautions. Make sure that you're not standing underneath any branches that might fall when you make your cuts. You've still got to take precautions in using these types of tools. Let's go try them out in the orchard. Thanks for watching, everyone. I hope you liked the video today. If you'd like to see this and more content, please hit the like button, share the video, and subscribe. We'll be doing a lot more in the orchard and the garden very soon.